Expose corrupt politicians and lying corporate media. I'm Jake Duesenberg, your host. We are broadcasting live from Roseville, Minnesota, 10 minutes north of the Minnesota State Fair. They say the great get-together, right? I'm going to tell you guys a story here. Joining me, which will be normal, as usual, I will say probably in a couple weeks, is former State Representative Erik Mortensen. How you doing there, buddy?
So good. I had so much fun watching that debate last night.
I can't wait to tell you the story.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. I got to introduce everyone. Bridget, reading your comments. Let us know where you're watching from. If you're at the State Fair, tell the people at the booth what you think of this show. And running the dials, Dawson. We call him Mr. Deep State.
Yep, I'm
All
here. My camera isn't working. William is currently zooming in at.
William is zooming in. Okay, let me get this story out of the way.
Yep.
We arriving to put some supplies in the booth, 7:45ish, and we're about to take a left right by on Underwood, right by the fair booth, and I look and I go, "Oh, that's Tim Walz."
Oh God.
Really?
I mean, I was minutes away from being at the booth while he walked by the dump Biden booth. Wouldn't that have been great? Because he's just been going on air lately saying, Biden's doing a great job. We need to rally behind Biden. So that's Tim Walz, our wonderful governor of Minnesota, Mr. Lockdown King. All right, do we have William live from the State Fair right now?
So let me bring up what I see of him right now.
Okay.
He doesn't know this is about to happen.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's
What
not-
is he does? How dare you? He doesn't know that he's live right now. Well, we can't even hear you, William. Oh, wait, now I got to put my headset on.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear. Yeah, we.
Okay,
audience
can I hear
Sure,
William?
said.
Yeah.
William, can you hear me?
Yes, kind of.
Is this
Kind of.
this is this is like the worst spot you could possibly be in right now with a
At least I'm doing it, Jake.
there you go. A shirt waving on your head and inside the booth. They can't even see the beautiful booth. Can we
There's not a lot of great spots for this. I mean, the booth is busy.
Well, that's a good problem to have.
Oh. Hey.
Now what happened? Did we just lose William?
No. Actually.
By the way, we're desperately needing a cameraman. If you're a cameraman, let us know. We'd love to bring on your services.
I don't really.
Is that for real?
Oh, there's William. Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, look,
Oh.
William's got to
It's
be
like
a
you
jack
can
of
only
all
see my
trades.
forehead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's by the way, for those that don't watch normally, this is Mr. Straight-Laced William. We call him the bland Matt Walsh.
Had
The
someone
blonde
come
Matt
up
Walsh.
by calling me that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, a lot of
interesting.
people here watch the show. It's great.
That's awesome. Tell us how things are going.
It's great. Yeah, we're giving away a lot of fans. We're probably halfway through our box of fans. Let me grab.
Poor I feel so bad for William right now. He's got to juggle all this stuff.
I feel like you're making fun of me, but I can't really.
I was not making fun of you. I was appreciating your hard work there, William.
Oh, okay, sure.
We
And
got
then
that.
We've sold a couple of these T-shirts too. Well, more than a couple.
I was
These
gonna
are
say
really
a
popular.
couple. We're really screwing up if we only sold a couple.
I'm having trouble hearing you guys. This laptop only goes so loud. Rest
Got-
assured, we are at the fair. Cheese curds and mini donut beer included. It's great.
What are people saying? We got a little bit of a poll going on. When they sign the petition, they get 4 kernels. They can put the kernels in a bucket. By the way, that's from our cheese balls that we emptied yesterday. First of all, can we get a shot of the polls right now, the unofficial poll? Is it
Yeah, I'm
possible?
worried I'm going to lose connection with you guys. Oh, maybe we're fine. So, here.
Ooh,
I don't
this
know.
apparently is not going to work.
I don't know what the hell
All
Zoom
right,
is.
all right. Well, William, we do
You
not
not
want.
see me?
Yeah, we do not want you to move. I guess at this point, we're
Okay.
gonna lose you. Give us your take. What's going on with the polls? Be honest. Tell us exactly what people are saying. And don't just
Well,
say
this is
everyone
the
loves
Trump.
DeSantis.
This is the Trump bucket. That's the most popular.
We didn't see that.
Popular, and Vivek is third most popular. So,
Who was number 2?
DeSantis.
Okay, DeSantis. Now, when I was there was a couple people asking about Nikki Haley. Are you still getting that?
Yeah, we had someone who was very upset that we didn't have Nikki Haley. We've gotten a lot of Nikki Haley supporters here, so I'm surprised, to say the least.
Okay, and we didn't have a bucket for her earlier, so we got a bucket heading out there with Maga Jesse, who should be en route. What else can you tell us about the booth so far? We're only 4 hours into the booth. Not a long time.
I'm actually. Do you want to be on the show? We're doing a live Zoom call.
Yeah, bring him on the show. Who is it?
It's Lisa.
Lisa.
One of the Lisas we have working today.
We love Lisa's.
I'm not going to force anyone to be on here who doesn't want to, but
I feel like there's
yeah.
I feel like there's a height. Oh, did she not want to come on the show?
it's yeah. There's a lot going on here, so. keep
Bridget
it busy.
wants Lisa, the other Lisa, to come on the show.
Are there 2 Lisas working right now?
I don't know.
Guys,
William's back.
Yeah, we lost you there, William. What was that?
Dawson's gonna have to fix.
This
I
is
heard that you lost me.
this is probably the best TV ever.
Yeah, this is riveting.
This is so amazing. William, you go focus on that booth. You're doing a good job. We'll solve the
Okay,
tech
thank
issues.
you.
It wouldn't be the first day at the
Brad
fair if we
wants to
didn't
know
have.
what the
It's
deal
going
is with the
great until I had to
t-shirt.
set this thing up.
I don't know.
All right, you take care.
All right.
Well,
talk to you later.
good thing I was at the fair this morning. I could kind of get my own personal perspective of it. There was definitely some Nikki Haley people asking. You know, I always notice that William is like always the extreme. Like, we have a lot of people asking for Nikki Haley. There was like two or three.
That sounds about right.
It was noticeable. They were asking, you know. She was the only one that didn't have a jar that they were asking about. I'll put it that way. And so more, it seems like coming out.
Santis and Vivek. And I thought Vivek destroyed last night.
Yeah. So what was so, I mean, this is the read I had. We talked about, we did a live stream. What to you was so important about Vivek's performance?
Well, I like how he doesn't pull any punches. You know, I just listened to him on the way in today, and he's on Clay and Travis this morning or this afternoon, and he's like, I'm talking about a 75% cut in headcount within the federal government. And I hear stuff like that and go, hell yeah. Like, I love his revolution talking point. It doesn't probably sit well with a ton of people, as it sounds a little extreme, but
And plus, if he's going to say revolution, it's got to be a big part of his campaign. Last I checked, that wasn't his big calling. Like,
yeah,
that
I
was the
think
Ron
he's
Paul
building
revolution.
that
Right? You
branding.
got to build that up.
Yeah, I think he's trying to build that branding, and he did a good job with it last night. But that's what I was excited to see is the whole Vivek Ron DeSantis thing. And I thought Ron DeSantis, like, shit the bed. I thought he was terrible. He came across as a total beta male. In the past, I would say neither Trump or Ron DeSantis would take the VP slot, as much as a lot of people have been saying, well, give us a Trump DeSantis ticket. I think he'd be lucky to get the VP spot. I thought he came across really weird, and he just tried to stick to those talking points, including his initial statement and then his closing statement. I thought they were totally canned. And then that weird half-cracked smile that just looked like
weird.
super nervous. He just looked like he didn't belong up there. He looked like very uncomfortable.
It was so bizarre. And I mean, I couldn't get over that watching it live. It's like, we commented on it, and then he was starting to answer, and I'm like, going back in my head, like, why did he do that?
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's really
Right.
nothing there.
Yeah, right from the get-go. And they teed up the first question with something about, I think, the Oliver Anthony song. And they're
Yeah.
asking, well,
Yeah.
why is this resonating? And instead of him addressing the question, which isn't entirely unusual in debates,
Right.
but it was such a softball question for him to tap into that.
Right.
And he just went into this prepared statement without building any sort of morale, no rapport. Like, it was so robotic. And so I actually went to Twitter, and I rarely do this, but I was like looking at Twitter for DeSantis robot. I did a search, and of course they're probably all crazy liberals, but oh my gosh, he was getting attacked on Twitter just for being called a robot. And Chris Christie was getting quite the attacks after his Chat GPT thing, because a lot of people interpreted that to be a racist comment. So he's getting annihilated out there.
Because he's Indian, is that
Yeah.
why?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I didn't even put that together. Oh, Chris Christie, he just can't win.
I heard that part, and that's where his age stood out to me. I was like, yeah, ChatGPT, that's the best you can come up with to diss this guy.
How old is Chris Christie?
I don't know.
Imagine in the
Older than me.
60s.
He looks 60.
60?
Yeah, I would
Is
think
he
so.
60? Oh my god.
Is he not 60? Because be careful now, once again, when you say his
You
age.
think I'm afraid of calling you old?
Well, this is the thing. Like, more when we're in like our meetings, because you know these guys are all in their low. they'll say that person's old or something like that, and they're referring to someone in their 40s. I'm like,
I know. Yeah. I remember being in my 20s and saying the same thing, and now
did you?
I don't like it.
Oh no! Do I just forget? Have I forgotten that's what 20s? Chris Christie Cream. Let's see here. How old he is? What's your guess?
Tucker says take his weight and divide by
62.
100.
Take his weight and divide it by 100, and that's his age?
You say
Apparently.
60?
62.
60 on the dot. Although he's got a September birthday, so he'll be turning 61. So he's actually 60 and a half. There you go. Yeah, I could see that. Which means he was running for president the other time at 52. He's a much younger guy. Well, I think personally, Ada Hutchinson it's a joke. It was Trump saying like, "Why is this guy even running? It doesn't make any sense."
Yeah.
He showed why it doesn't make sense. You
Yeah.
just got. I almost don't think we'll ever utter that guy's name again because he's irrelevant.
Totally agree, and I would say the same thing with Burgum on the other end of the podium. He was, I mean, his opening statement was like, "Man, I'm from a town from," he was like, "Golly gee, shucks, you know, I'm from a town of 300 people. I'm just glad to be here." And it's like, okay, you can step off the stage now. Like he just didn't resonate with anybody in my mind, unless it's his whole goal was I'm going to try to appeal to the tiniest towns in the country, which probably lean red. But man, Burgum was terrible. Asa was terrible. Do you want to go right down the line and talk about everybody?
I want to go down the line.
Oh,
We
hell
want to
yeah.
poke your brain. Is that the right term?
Pick your brain.
Pick your brain.
Pick my brain.
You can
Let's
poke
see.
it
I was
too.
just telling him. I'm a little underslept right now because we foolishly the night before the state fair decided we're gonna do a live stream. So
And you didn't invite me.
now your camera's working, huh?
Yep.
Well, I didn't think you would do it, honestly.
Oh
You know?
man, I would love to be here and talk about this.
You
stuff.
have an
It was
open invitation. By the way, the studio's always open to you, Mort.
funny
You
when I
can
show up, it's
come
always
on.
locked. So
No, we'll open it for you.
I should
Actually,
give him
I should
my
get you a
card.
key. Yeah, I should give him a
Can I
key.
have it?
That'd be nice. It is open to you, so just standing invite, so you can never hear him say that bullshit again. Anyhow, my head hit the pillow probably 11:30 last night, and then gotta get up and start the fair. So yeah, poke. That's the wrong one. What do I want to
Pick.
say? Pick your brain.
Yep.
We're gonna
No,
pick your brain, not
yeah.
poke your brain. There you go. It's almost like I've never done TV before. I'm bringing the William energy in today. And that isn't fair. He did call me out like
brutal.
I'm just being mean to him. Let's go to comments here.
Carla Nelson is here, and she said, Vivek seemed to be the only one who answered from his heart. I loved how he held his hand proud and high about pardoning Trump.
That was an interesting. What do you
was
think about that?
super
Only guy with the
interesting.
hand held high.
Well, so they asked a couple things about Trump, if they would still support him or if they would pardon him. And I think he was the only one who raised his hand when they said he would pardon Trump. And DeSantis kind of did one of these half things. And
It's almost
then
worse.
Yeah. And then he just started talking. Like DeSantis and Mike Pence were driving me nuts last night. Pence just wouldn't shut his mouth. And then I was pissed that I'm not starting with Asa, but since we're talking about this, when they said, well, who here believes in man-made global warming? Raise your hand. And I was like on the edge of my seat going, I want to know. And DeSantis like would not allow it. He just started talking, and they let him talk for like 30 seconds, and then they kind of shut him up. And then Vivek, I thought, hit a home run in my mind on that question. But if we go back to the left side of the stage, this Asa Hutchinson guy, is that his name, Hutchinson?
Yeah.
don't know.
Trump
Yeah.
calls him Ada.
Oh, he calls him Ada?
I don't know why.
Yeah, he wouldn't support Trump if he got the nominee or nomination. He made that very clear. This Asa Ada guy. And I thought he was completely irrelevant. Like I don't care about the guy. I
not
thought he just-
not going to be here anymore.
exactly. Like if it was the 1988 presidential run,
Yeah.
maybe this guy's in it. But he was just.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
And then if you go, who's the next guy over after him? It was Christie, I think.
Christie was next. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Christie was Chris Christie. Like,
Same guy.
yeah, he's just a
Nothing new.
blowhard. He's a disruptor. I can kind of appreciate some of that stuff, but
He's a good debater. No
yeah,
doubt
he
about
is,
it.
and
Yeah.
he's quick-witted, so I can respect that. But
I appreciate him being on stage because it's entertaining.
yeah, but I think he was just bashing Trump. That's his whole campaign is just Trump's terrible, and there's already, plenty of Democrats out there doing that. We don't need a Republican nominee with that point of view. So he largely got booed a lot of the time. And he had some decent zingers about the chat GTP thing with Vivek and or Vivek, as we know
Can
now.
I stop you there? You make it sound like the Democrats attack Trump. We don't need any more of that. But there is a contingency inside the Republican ranks that's very much anti-Trump.
Yeah,
so,
I think there's always been this sort of anti-Trump, never Trump feel, but that's really not where the people are at. I mean, the guy still has 50, 60, percent of the likely primary voters supporting the guy. So, and that's just not going to be a popular thing on that stage. And maybe just to kind of set the whole table, I thought it was genius that Trump didn't show up because they can't attack him, even though they kind of did, but they're going to deter Trump supporters. They can't. They'd be careful how much to attack him. So it was just all of them attacking each other and doing Trump's dirty work. So I thought that was brilliant for him not to show up. And I think the other thing that was brilliant about it was Trump. They're never going to stop Trump from being Trump, even his closest aides. And so his personality is going to come out in these things, and it can be, a personality that a lot of suburban women want nothing to do with. So I think now we got the morning after. He's not the one in the media getting all the negative coverage because he wasn't even there. So
Right.
I think he prevented himself from doing some damage to himself by not going. And instead he let them tear each other apart. So I thought it was brilliant.
I understand that concept. And, listen, there's no risk basically to Trump not showing up.
Yep.
But Trump probably could have been boosted by showing up. That's the thing with him. And he's in the news cycle today. Did you know that? He's in the news cycle. We don't know yet. You're staying on top of this, but at some point he's going to turn himself in. Allegedly, it's 2:20 Eastern. I mean, he's not going to go there after 5, right? If you go there after 5, do they just put you in jail for the night?
Is that how that works?
don't know.
All right.
Well, I
I've never
think
gotten arrested before.
yeah, none of us have been arrested here, but I think what happens is you would have to go to the court in front of a judge. And if that happened in the after hours, I think you're spending the night in jail. Certainly there's that thing where, like, if you do this on a Friday night, you're going over the weekend.
Yeah, when I was doing loss prevention at Mall of America, that was always something that we would tell the guys that we'd bust for shoplifting, that you're going to spend the weekend in jail now because of the time of day. But I don't know how it works. If you're Donald Trump, are you really going to get tossed in jail overnight?
Think how much you just dated yourself. You were in loss prevention at the Mall of America. And
It
you
still
had-
exists. What,
and no. Follow me on this
I'm
one.
waiting.
And you had a threatened jail time. That doesn't happen anymore.
Well, yeah, that's very true.
Isn't that and it's very sad too? And that was a question in the debate last night. I was at Sierra Trading Post, right? Great store.
Yeah, terrible store.
You don't like that store?
I think it's junk, but go
it's
ahead.
like our kind of stuff, real cheap.
It's crappy outdoor gear is what.
Yeah,
what
I was literally just arguing with my friend about this the other day too. I'm like, I don't think it's actual. It has a brand name, but I'm like, I don't think it's the same quality. If you were to actually go to a nice store and buy the brand name,
Yeah,
like
I
yeah,
think
but
it
you're
used to
buying
be
a
way
fraction of
better.
the cost. I'm cheap. I get it.
I don't know.
But you go over to the gear section, right?
Well, I don't go there anymore. It's like Marshalls for outdoor gear.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing. They sell peak outside or peak refuel freeze dried meals, like $3 cheaper than anywhere else. It's a good brand.
Okay.
They sell good.
All right, you're not talking me into going
Oh
there.
my
It's-
gosh.
Base Minnesota says, wait, Mort was a mall cop.
Yeah.
No, that's not good.
We should. Former mall cop, Erik Mortensen.
I worked at Macy's and Old Navy. I wasn't a mall cop. We even made fun of the mall cops, but
Yeah. Sierra Trading Post, I'm in there, and some guy, sketchy, homeless-looking dude, all of a sudden takes off. The sirens go off on the thing. The guys run out of the store, and then they stop. And I watch the guy just casually get on his bike with all these clothes
So dumb.
and just take off. And I say to the dude, I'm like, yeah, not much you guys can do these days. And they're like, nope.
I guess that does age me because I chased a guy who stole from us at Macy's. I chased him outside of the store, which was kind of a no-no, and grabbed him, and I'm throwing him to the ground, and he pulled out a knife and went to stab me, and luckily I saw it at the last second and just let him go, and I chased him for quite a while and finally got Bloomington PD out there. But yeah, we did
This
not
guy
have the
tried
mentality.
stabbing you with a knife?
Yeah.
I've never heard this story, Mort.
I've never told you that?
No.
Yep. Some dude tried to stab me over.
So this guy got booked
Tommy
for
Hilfiger
assault with
jeans
a
or
deadly
something.
weapon then?
Well, so, I mean, this is kind of a long story, but
Well, I think we got time. This is long format, and you just talked about a life-threatening event, dude with a knife. That's never happened to me before.
All right, well, fine. So I let the guy go, and like 3 days later, the mall cops called me and they say, hey, we think we found this guy that stole from you guys and pulled this knife, but they wanted somebody to come ID him. And I knew what this guy looked like, so I went down. He was at the public transit station, shockingly enough. How every single person we busted for shoplifting came in on light rail or the bus. And so I went down there, and it was the guy, and he recognized me. And he bust out these back doors, and I was like, I'm not letting this guy go again. So I go chasing him out the back doors, and I'm trying to keep my distance. I'm all alone. And I'm radioing in back to our little base. But, you know, they're shitty walkie-talkies. I didn't get very far with them. And so he's running, I'm running. We ran for probably 2 miles around Bloomington. I'm chasing him. So finally, and he threatens me. The kid says, you got to leave me alone or I'm going to call the cops. And I was like, well, holy shit, why haven't I called the cops? So I pulled out my phone, and I called Bloomington PD and kept them posted where we were at. And all of a sudden, this PD squad car comes flying down this side street and cuts the kid off, and they throw him on the hood of the truck and arrest him. And then I walked back to Macy's. So I don't even know what happened, I guess. Maybe I wrote a report, but this is like 20 years ago.
For Macy's? So what was he stealing from Macy's?
I don't remember what he stole that first day, because the second day when I chased him, he hadn't stolen anything. We were just trying to catch him from what he had done previously.
Right, but, I mean, somewhere along the way, you put your life at risk for X amount of goods.
Dude, it was the craziest thing. Like, at Old Navy, it was very casual. It wasn't confrontational. We quietly would tell people, let's go back and talk about your unpaid for merchandise. But at Macy's...
That's what they told you to call it?
Yeah.
Stolen.
At Macy's, like my manager was, man, he'll probably never see this. A nice guy, but he totally had little man syndrome, and he exerted that authority on anybody we would bust. And I remember one time we were following this couple, and we were following them because the people in our office were reviewing the tape to make sure that they actually had stolen this stuff. And once they approved it or confirmed, he's like, you grab that one, I'll grab this one, and we're going to throw them against that jewelry case over there. And I was like, why do we have to throw these people anywhere? But that's what we did. And he would just talk shit to the people. Like, he would try to almost get in fights with these guys. And I'm like, dude, I don't need to get hurt over like a pair of, Pumas. Let's just actually just take them away quietly. And we would handcuff people on the spot. Like at Old Navy, we rarely handcuff people. But Macy's, they had just stopped doing chokeholds for private security. Like, we were trained, you can't do that anymore.
Interesting.
It was a wild job.
This just sounds so old school, doesn't it?
Yep.
Why do you say Macy's and Old Navy? Like you worked?
Well, I worked at Old
jobs?
Navy first, and I moved over to Macy's.
So you upgrade to Macy's.
Big time. Actually, Macy's is a crappy store once you work there. It's garbage everywhere. It is not this really nice store that it's made out to be.
What's going on?
I don't know. I can't hear him.
The remote's by the phone.
The remote?
Do you want it?
Oh.
Turn off the TV.
By the way, if you haven't gone to State Fair, dump Biden. What do we call these things? Fancy. I really shouldn't be doing a show right now. I can't even think. That's how bad my brain is. Let's get more of your opinion on the debate. Obviously, this thing's not working upstairs. Get your fans at the State Fair today, and T-shirts, $25 T-shirts. Dump Biden. We are super popular, as you can see. Like, I couldn't even get a hold of William for about an hour and a half. Finally got a break. I tried feeding them cheese curds. I thought they'd be fine, but apparently that wasn't enough. I should have frequented the coffee shop right behind it. Awesome coffee place, and the owners kind of like Anchor Coffee.
Is the booth still in the same place?
No, you didn't know that? You'll appreciate this. They moved their booth this year because the crowds were too big last year. It was disrupting the trolley service, which we all knew, right?
Yeah.
That was a big issue. So they wanted to move our booth. So they put us right by where Tim Walz is.
Oh.
But he's not there this year because he's a coward.
Yeah. Oh, so you're just further down the road.
We're just further down the road on Underwood Street. But better further down the road, like towards the crowds.
Yep.
Like there was a lot more people where we were this morning. Anyhow, Vivek, I can't remember where we left off. I think you were going through the list.
Yeah, I was just going left to right.
Yeah.
Oz is a joke. He's not going anywhere. He probably won't even be up there in September. Chris Christie is just the blowhard. It makes it interesting. There's no doubt about that. But then you get to Mike Pence, I think, is the next. And Mike Pence was annoying. You could tell that everybody up there was trying to be the next Trump and have some assertiveness and and sort of be a bit of a bully.
Well,
but probably
especially
pull it
Pence
back a
trying to
little
be
bit.
assertive for the first time ever. Right?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what made it so comical. He just would not stop talking. Even Brett Baer was like, "Can you just shut up?
Yeah.
Can you just be quiet so we can ask questions?" And I thought one of the funniest parts to me was when Mike Pence, this old, white, stiff, boring politician, is trying to spar with Vivek Ramaswamy. Like, that was hilarious to me because Vivek's like laughing everything off. Like, he was Teflon. Everything was bouncing off of him. He's young. He's fresh. He's energetic. And for Mike Pence to like try to instigate something with someone like with Vivek, it just looked terrible. So Pence had his one joke that was actually funny, that he said, well, everybody in Washington, D.C. should take a competency test, which, it got some laughs from the crowd. But
Yeah.
I don't think he's, gaining support, Mike Pence, from last night at all. In fact, he got booed quite a lot by the crowd. And then who's next then? It was Pence.
Haley,
DeSantis.
was it? Oh, yeah, DeSantis was that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I was so looking forward to DeSantis, but utter disappointment.
Do you feel like he needed to actually perform that
Yeah,
night?
I
'Cause
think
he'd
there was a
slip
ton
in
of pressure
yeah.
on him. Like, he has been in this default number 2 spot for so long.
Right.
And he's been losing ground for months now to people like Vivek. And he just, in my mind, even though I've heard people on the radio saying they thought he did great, I thought he did terrible. He was,
People think DeSantis did great.
oh yeah, just listening to Clay Travis on the way down. He's like, oh yeah, DeSantis was great, and Nikki Haley was great in his mind, and of course Vivek. But I thought he was overly prepared, and he was just sticking to these talking points. He had that awkward smile. How can you not even smile sincerely? Was what I was.
Can you find that video for us, Dawson?
We have a $20 Rumble Rant from K-Wall for life.
Oh, thank you, K-Wall.
Thank you.
That's it? No comment?
Oh, sorry. It says cheers. They usually just say cheers.
Well, thank you. I was feeling like, are we even get a Rumble Rant? Didn't bring my A game today.
What
It really means a lot to me. What's that?
what video did you want?
Just type in YouTube, like, DeSantis smile, debate smile.
It was so
It's got to be there.
awkward.
It was so weird. Yeah, I think we need to do a breakdown of that, right?
Tucker's blaming the beer for your
I had one beer. By the way, Howenstein,
energy.
you ever had a Howenstein beer? So
Nope.
Tucker, a big fan of the show, loves Howenstein. He says,
Yeah.
we're looking for the non-woke beer. That's what he recommended. So
There's
did they
literally
leave a bottle
leftovers.
here?
Yeah.
Oh
Bottle
my
caps
gosh.
and bottles.
William.
Somebody left a
He
frickin-
left 2 bottles
beer-
right down there.
The beer has character.
Somebody left a Cliff Bar wrapper with like a hunk of Cliff Bar left in it. In my
Were my
studio.
kids in this
Kinda.
room last night?
I know, what kind of savages do we have around here?
Not that they drink beer, but the rappers.
Yeah, actually, I was starting to wonder about your kids there.
Brad Ganser wants 7 T-shirts, so he's asking if he can Rumble Rant for T-shirts.
Don't Rumble Rant for a T-shirt. Brad,
it's
you really do want
$260.
What are you equipping your whole family? He's got 5 kids, 2 adults. Do you really? Brad, message me afterwards. I don't want to do them on Rumble Rants because Rumble's gonna take some of that take.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah.
I think
it's
they
a
did,
nice
like,
platform for show stuff, but not for T-shirts. Yeah, call me or text me afterwards. We'll settle that business.
I'm looking for this clip. It was his closing arguments, right?
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of the videos have it cut out.
Oh, that's a
The
shame.
beginning smile, but
Tucker says DeSantis sounded like a typical politician last night.
Yeah, that's why I was so disappointed. He had some fiery moments, but it just sounded so rehearsed and so scripted. And that weird smile, then of course that's closing statement when they were like, Mr. DeSantis, you're up, and he just is staring at the camera for like a second or two.
Well, if we're gonna talk about typical politicians, Tim Scott, right?
Oh, Tim Scott, I thought was really bad. I mean, that he needed to have a performance last night, and he was the typical dull, boring, dry. And Nikki Haley kind of just dismantled him really quickly by saying, "You voted for all this spending." Right after he said how he tried to tout
Right.
his fiscal conservativeness, she's like, "You voted for like $5 trillion in spending. What are you talking about?"
Right.
You could tell he just wasn't prepared to handle something like that.
Yeah. He's like, Nikki Haley's coming after me. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
DeSantis, I thought was a
You know,
big
another thing that
disappointment.
got me, I think you were watching the live stream, but twice DeSantis says, and I was embedded or I was with Navy SEALs overseas. I was like, what?
I heard him say it once, and then I was watching your live, and and then the debate. But I ended up pausing the debate, and you guys were ahead of it, so I ended up stop watching the live, and because I didn't want to find out what was being said. But so I only heard it once.
Yeah, he said
And
twice.
I was like, wait, I thought this guy was a Marine.
No, he was a
talking to
JAG officer,
SEALs?
Navy JAG officer. And
Oh, he
I
was in the
think he
Navy.
worked maybe in Iraq with Navy SEALs in terms of legal work. But the way it came across, at least the insinuation was like, I'm there, we're kicking down doors with Navy SEALs. Sounds badass, right?
Yeah.
Little different story. I was like, that's kind of us.
And that's so unnecessary for him to try to stake that, kind of stolen valor, if you
Right.
will. Where the guy, he served, he's been a great governor. I wish he was our governor. He's got plenty of stuff to talk about. He doesn't need to embellish his
Right.
record.
I mean, I get it. It's kind of hard, when you don't have a great one. But, yeah, it's just one of those things where, well, it's like the old Tim Walz thing. Tim Walz saying, yeah, I was a sergeant major. Well, a lot of sergeants major don't like him saying that because he didn't go to school. He was only conditionally promoted. He won't retire at that rank, So, yeah, there's a lot of issues with that. I want to talk about, let's see, I was going to talk about Trump. Where did my notes go here? The Tucker interview. Did you get a chance to see this?
Mm-mm.
Did you watch it? Mm-mm. Okay. So, and I don't have clips for you guys. I didn't have time to put the clips together. It's fascinating. I'm going to maybe do this on the fly as we talk about it. But at one point, Tucker asked about, well, they have now got 4 indictments against you. It's not working. Of course, this is just right into Trump's hand. Like, yeah, it's clearly not working. He's like, the only thing left for them to do is kill you. Are you worried about being assassinated? That's literally what he asked him. And I was thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, when you really think about the way things have gone, it seems not even controversial now that Twitter and Facebook got rid of the president of the United States of America. They cut him off their social media platforms. Remember when that happened? They're like, this is a bad president. This shouldn't happen. We should allow him to have speech. ISIS is on Twitter. But they're like, no, it's too damaging. It's like, that doesn't even seem controversial these days, right? Because now they got 4 indictments against him. So what are your thoughts on this? Like, see this polarization of America, this gradual thing where they're now indicting him. What's the next step?
I don't know what the next step is. I mean, we were talking about this before this morning, but I just don't care. I don't care about these indictments. Obviously, it's news. It's never happened. It's historic. But if you cast that wide vision, they've been doing it to him for 8 years. That's been the objective of the media, the elitists, is get rid of this guy. So when I say I don't care, it's just that it's no surprise. Like, I have news. Like, it's newsworthy he's going to get arrested today. But if you cast that wider vision, to me, the headline is Deep State comes after Trump. And it's like, yeah, all right, that's been happening for almost a decade. And when this probably doesn't work, then they'll find something else. And that's an interesting question that Tucker asked him because I don't know. What else could they do to the guy? They
Trying to go to Troster Social. Oh, my God. It's too precious today. Could you zoom in on that? He is having too much fun. Here he is with a masked DeSantis in his kind of beta-looking stance. I mean, Trump. Yeah, and there's another. Like, you can't.
Is that that's crazy.
Oh man, you gotta leave this Trump. Like, I don't even know what the video is here, but he's just relentless against DeSantis as he calls him.
I'm not zooming in anymore. You lost your chances.
Yeah, no. Oh my God, another masked one. I'm trying to Trump is like basically living on True Social. I'm trying to find this damn video because he had a 10-minute segment. Because otherwise it's a 46-minute segment.
You're looking for a funny DeSantis video?
No. The Trump interview,
about?
the little teaser. Let's go to some comments here as I'm looking for this.
I've got a funny DeSantis video.
Okay.
I had to go to our thing because it's freaking nowhere else. This is from yesterday's stream.
Oh, I didn't even think that we could do that. Here we go.
That cheesy smile.
Say something.
That's so fake.
Weird.
We will send Joe Biden back to his basement.
That was
and
weird.
we will reverse the decline of this country. I'm a blue collar kid. I work minimum wage
That was
jobs
really
to
weird.
be able to make
Okay, stop it there. I mean, it seemed more weird last night, but that's probably because the whole mood of the thing. But it still is a little weird. It's like he didn't hear it. Wasn't he the last guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was he waiting for?
His
That
brain
is so
to turn
bizarre.
on?
I know. That's why I just so unimpressed from that guy from last night. And these last several months, he looked like a total robot, and he sounded like it, and so disappointing from a guy that he has a great record. I wish he was our governor, but man, he's not ready for that stage, it seems. That's my take.
Yeah, I never saw this one coming. Okay, I did find the video. I'm going to send this to you, Dawson. We're just going to have to...
Brad Ganser says, I feel for Trump's safety. And Bad Hat Harry says, I've thought about that Tucker question secretly for some time. I'm amazed, honestly, too. Like, when you think about it, you're like, why wouldn't they just take him out rather than go through the... I mean...
Oh, I got another theory here.
I don't know. Like, they must have tried at some point.
Well, there's a... What's worse than killing the person?
Oh,
Kill the
yeah,
legacy?
you told me
Messing
this.
with
That's right,
family.
messing with their family.
Oh, the family.
Because if there's
Yeah,
one thing
that's
Trump
true.
loves, it's his family, right? And that's all they got to do. Like, Trump's 77. You know, at some point I assume but if you mess with someone's family, boy, you really got them, don't you?
Yeah, and I don't see them backpedaling so long as he shows political aspirations. They're just going to keep coming after him. I'm sure if he decided he was not going to run for office, a lot of this stuff would just fall to the wayside.
Right, and that's what he always alleges. He's also on True Social. I mean, it's ridiculous. You got to go to True Social and look at this. I mean, it doesn't stop. But he's praising Vivek, says, this answer gave Vivek Ramaswamy a big win in the debate because of a thing called truth. Thank you, Vivek, which I think is probably him explaining that he would pardon Trump, the only one on stage. Okay, let's tune into this thing. I think this is gonna be messy, but let's kind of zoom ahead here. I think we're gonna be probably 3 minutes in. Let's try that.
If the protest didn't work, you got.
Oh no.
Shit. But because people understand it.
Can I just ask
right
you,
away,
that
I
gets back to
forgot.
my original question. So if the protest didn't work, you got elected anyway. Impeachment didn't work twice, obviously. Indictment is not working. Your poll numbers go up. When they raided Mar-a-Lago in August of last year, your numbers went up. They can indict you 20 times, and you're not gonna lose the Republican primary because of that.
Well,
So,
it
like,
makes it look even more ridiculous. I mean, the 4 indictments, and maybe there'll be more. I don't know. These people are crazy.
But they're counterproductive. So if you chart it out, it's an escalation. Is what I'm saying. So what's next after try to put you in prison for the rest of your life? That's not working. So like, don't they have to kill you now?
I think the people of our country don't get enough credit for how smart they are. And I'm not sure I would have said this 10 years ago, but they get it. They really get it. When somebody gets indicted, your poll numbers go down. When somebody gets indicted, you announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving to spend time with my family and to fight for the rest of my life on this stuff. But you're out of politics. I got indicted 4 times. All trivia, nonsense, bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's horrible when you look, and you look at what they're doing. The boxes hoax. I'm covered by the Presidential Records Act. I'm allowed to do exactly.
All right, pause
that.
right there real
He's
quick.
not covered, and
This
he's got
this is actually a really fascinating point. Like, just think about any politicians that's ever been indicted almost any time ever. Their poll numbers go down, and he only goes up. And I remember the first one where they were in New York, which no one even talks about the New York case anymore, right? That was the first one. It's just like, what's going to happen after this? And I think he had a little bump, but now it's just like he's surging. And none of us saw this stuff coming, right? And I don't know if the Democrats saw it coming. They thought this is all we got to do to take care of Trump. And clearly then, as Tucker's alluding to, you have to escalate this thing even more. And what do you escalate to at this point? Like, right?
Yeah, I mean, that seems like it would be it, but it's crazy to be talking about this. So
Wait, I'm just
Casually.
reporting the
Casually, I
news.
know.
This is what Tucker's doing. This is news. That's what I'm reporting on. And then we were commentating on it. So
I just think it's sad that this is even being discussed on someone like a Tucker Carlson, Donald Trump. Like, these are 2 huge figures in our society, and they're just talking about, are they going to kill you? Like, that blows my mind.
right. He should say right now, I am not suicidal. I have no plans to kill myself. By the way, Vladimir Putin's big opponent in the Wagner group, did you see apparently his plane wasn't very secure and that went down. You remember the coup attempt on Putin?
Oh,
a
yeah,
month
yeah.
ago? Yeah. The guy that led, I can't think of the guy's name right now, but led the Wagner group. His plane went down. The guy died.
Oh, really?
Shocker.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue this on. Because he asked about Epstein, and I want your response. You haven't seen this, right? I couldn't find I was trying to watch this on the way home last night. I couldn't find the interview because I thought it was on Twitter Spaces, and it is. And I don't know why I didn't see it when I was leaving. So I found this on his True Social, and it's a teaser. And I don't remember this part being in the 42-minute interview or whatever that was. So if you go to his True Social, you'll find this segment. So let's keep playing. He asked him about Epstein. It's interesting.
25 times the number of boxes. And he's got them stored in Chinatown. He's got them stored in a flimsy garage underneath his Corvette at Penn. And by the way, at Penn, he gets millions of dollars. China pays this guy millions of dollars. See, I think he's the most corrupt president we've ever had. And he also has the distinction of being the most incompetent. And I believe both. I mean, he's both incompetent and corrupt.
So
and
who
I
is running the
actually
government?
believe he's compromised because China knows so much about him. They know where the money comes from. They know where it is, who paid it, and they probably paid it. Well, they do pay Penn, and he gets $1 million. I think he takes $999,000 because keeps it a little bit under $1 million, like by $1. But he, in many ways, is a Manchurian candidate. We have a Manchurian candidate, and he's afraid to tell Russia to get out of Cuba. He's afraid to tell China to get out of Cuba. He's afraid. China now is building, think of this, China is building military installations in Cuba. The Cuban population of Miami is not too happy because they're never going to be able to
Did you
go
know
back.
that? That was the first time I heard
You
that.
don't even hear about it. And the worst culprit
Yeah,
is
I've never
the
heard of
press,
it.
the media, because normally, when I first heard that China's building installations in Cuba, and installations means military installations, okay, they said just some communication. They did that on the islands with Japan. They took the island, they started this massive construction, and they told everybody, including the Japanese have to be very careful. They
I think
told
Tucker's
everybody
just like, this guy
that
is
this
so
is a
interesting
housing
to listen
development. They're going to
to.
build a housing
The way his
development.
brain works.
And I
He's
said,
just
how
all over
come
the
runway
place.
is 20,000 feet long? Private jets need 4,000 feet. They don't need 20,000 feet. The big ones need 20,000 feet. They don't even need 20. And
It's like, how did we get to
runway,
this subject?
That's the largest runway ever built, both in width and length, for housing development. There's nobody that has a plane that big that you would have a runway that's
Why is
for
China
testing.
allowed to conduct imperialism in our hemisphere?
Well, yeah, and it's far beyond Cuba. It's all over South America.
Yeah, in the Caribbean.
So we built a thing called the Panama Canal. We lost
All right,
35,000
fast forward a
people
little
to
bit
the
here.
Mosquito, malaria. You take a look at the Panama Canal. It was
Keep going.
and they'll get out. If I'm president, they'll get out. Because I had a very good relationship with President Xi, but he respected this country, he respected me, and he'll get out. And we can't let them run the Panama Canal. We built the Panama Canal. Should have never been given to Panama. We should have had it. But we gave it for $1. Think of it. They quadrupled. In one day, they lifted the fees, which are, pretty big, for these massive ships to go through, right? Rather than going around the Cape and through all the tremendous storms, such beauty.
All right,
such
fast forward a little bit.
voter ID.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't they want voter ID? There's only one reason they don't want voter ID, because they want to cheat. I mean, who doesn't
keep
want?
going.
The time you have mail-in ballots, you're going to have massive
A little bit
cheating.
more.
And now for 10 minutes. The unhappiest part is the next hour, because you're petrified that you're not going to be fined another charger. People, I'm saying, if people
Look at
I'm
Tucker.
not
He's just
knocking
like,
electric
this
cars,
is a
they're
crazy
fine.
interview.
They're fine. But if people want to buy a gasoline car or a hybrid, hybrids are pretty good, actually. But they should be allowed to buy. They don't want to do any of this. So right now, California's in a big brownout because the grid is a disaster. The grid all over the country is sort of
All
a
right,
disaster.
let's see if
but
we
the
get.
grid in
It's got to be the last segment.
And
I'm
yet,
sorry, I don't remember
heating
this from last
systems
night.
in the house, they don't want you to have. It's there. It's got to go wherever it goes, into the oceans, whatever.
I don't think
It's not
so.
like a big problem. Now in some
How am I
states they have a
misremembering
problem.
this?
I
How am I See, this is it. I'm underslipped. It must be in the 42-minute segment. Okay, so I apologize for wasting your time there. He eventually goes from that thing about escalation. I was like, what? Are you serious?
I don't know how he can think that. I don't know how anybody
But
could
I
possibly
remember
think
that part. Actually, watching part of that, but he said, "I don't know."
I know he said
Technically, he says,
he
"I
didn't
don't know."
but it's like you don't know. You kind of know though, don't you?
Well, he doesn't know. I think didn't Tucker ask him who exactly killed?
It's something like that.
So
Dawson, can you search for it? Is that something you could? Can I get you looking for that? Maybe it's on Rumble or something. I hate to take this out of context because I thought it was kind of an interesting conversation. Certainly, our audience all believes Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, right?
It looks like we have an arrest time for Trump.
Do we? We got an update on that?
Well, it's on his True Social, so take it with a grain of Trump salt, I guess. But
He's saying it's not true.
It's on Truth. If he truthed it out, it's true.
7:30 p.m. is arrest time.
7:30 p.m.
Oh wow!
I assume that's talking about EST.
231,000 or 231 million views and still counting. The biggest video on social media ever, more than double the Super Bowl. But please excuse me, I have to start getting ready to head down to Atlanta, Georgia, where murder and other violent crimes have reached levels never seen before, to get arrested by radical left, low-life district attorney Fannie Willis for a perfect phone call and having the audacity to challenge a rigged and stolen election. The evidence is irrefutable. Arrest time 7:30 p.m.
That sounds like a late night stream to me. Folks.
Oh my God, Dawson.
Yeah, that's right.
Can we do this?
The whole world's already won.
I actually can't do it tonight, unfortunately. But
why? Why can't you do it?
Why? Because I have a date.
You have a date.
And I missed yesterday's date, and I can't do that again.
We met her. Why don't you just invite? I'm sure you went home, and she's like, "Geez, that guy."
I went home and fell asleep. It was 11.
I know, but at some point during the day, she's like, "You got the coolest boss in the world. All these other dudes around the office, cool." No, she didn't think that way.
I put a clip in there. It's 46 seconds long. That is his answer.
Can you send it to Dawson?
I put it in the Truth Hurts, but I don't know if that format can play.
Put in the Truth. Okay. Look at the note sheet.
No, it's not in there.
Do you have access to it?
Yeah, but it takes me a second to pull it up.
Oh no, I won't be able to get it from there.
What was I saying now? Oh, so we can't do the stream tonight because you got a date. All right. Do I need to respect that? I guess I'll respect his date in life.
I will. I mean, I think your thing is all about talking about things that nobody else is talking about.
That's fair.
And the whole world, every media outlet in the world's going to talk about it. So.
I think we'll all just play a drinking game at home tonight.
If I had money on it, I would say that the video would be him walking from one place to another, and then.
No, they're allowing cameras in the courtroom, so for the first time we actually get good coverage.
But what are they doing in the courtroom? Are they just reading him his charges or something?
Yeah, but remember in the past they've said, then he stared down Jack Smith, and that's just the recount. Now we actually get to see what does he do.
We get to see him look at somebody. Maybe we should stream. I don't know.
Well, come on. There's a lot in the look, right?
What are you getting out of this look right now?
I don't know.
That's right.
Fair enough. We won't stream it.
Did you get that, Bridget?
No.
We got to get up early anyhow, Bridget. We got you're doing the shift tomorrow, aren't you?
Are you going to?
Bridget, well, I figured I better get it started, right?
Yeah, and then you can drop me off, and I don't have to figure out parking.
Exactly. I'll drop you off and then pick you up. I got to pick up William at 3 anyhow today. He's going to be like...
Basement... Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead. What's the basement? If you guys want to see Bridget, she'll be at the State Fair booth tomorrow.
He congratulated Dawson and asked what's his name.
Oh,
ouch.
Which is Dawson. You can...
I can confirm it is a woman, and I can confirm that he's had a lot of women interested in him. Why not? Smart guy,
Don't say that.
Getting super buff. I mean... The biggest arm, the ladies' charm. What is there not to like about Dawson Grimm, okay? Now, sounds like this one girl is kind of sticking, so... I mean, look, he's willing to have a date. You were going to do a date last night with her. You cared so much about, giving the audience what they want, and so you called off the date. She was super cool. She came here to the studio. They came into the studio for some reason, got on camera. I don't want to ask you more questions. And a lot of cheese balls were missing, but no more questions anyhow. No, just kidding. She brought Chipotle. We had a lot of food in here yesterday, by the way. Chipotle and Cane's. God.
Oh, that's a good combo.
It was a good combo.
No panda, huh?
No panda yesterday.
Yeah.
Bad Hat Harry says, remember this. Some people who have certain clearances with some information, when put on the spot for an opinion, can't create one. So they'll say, I don't know. Referring to Trump.
Fathead Harry.
So
Trump?
so what are you saying? Trump would get indicted for a 5th time for revealing classified information on Jeffrey Epstein was killed. Now, by the way, if Jeffrey Epstein's death was classified, that's bullshit, right? That's absolute bullshit. We need to know this stuff.
But
I
it's not
think
classified. He killed himself. Remember?
yeah,
We know that.
we all know that it was concluded. I mean, the cameras turned off and they fell asleep. The guards fell asleep. I mean, surprise, surprise. By the way, it's not so easy to just off President Trump because he's got,
Secret Service,
Service, right?
Yeah.
So we say they'll just kill you, but that's not easy to do.
Beth
But
Moy-
you also can get into a
keep
federal
interrupting.
politics of it. Imagine Trump spending a night in jail. I mean, that would be insane.
What
And
would-
Secret Service would be there.
What would a Trump jail look like, though?
I
There's no way
know.
it's just like your old-timey jail cell.
Well, apparently this jail cell is like not very like the rumor in the area. It's like kind of shitty area.
Yeah,
Real bad.
Fox News this morning, they had a reporter claim that this Fulton County jail is known to be a dangerous place. And the reporter said, this is unbelievable. He said, one of the inmates was recently eaten alive by bed bugs.
Oh my God.
And, like Brian Kilmeade and whoever the other guy is. And they were like, just puzzled. Like, what? Wait, say that again? Somebody was eaten alive by bed bugs? Like,
I guess
how
that's
does
just
that
a
work?
Georgia's
fair
Fulton
speech.
County has reached a settlement with the family of a man who died in a bed bug infested cell in the county's jail psychiatric wing. The family's that's what will stick Trump.
Yeah.
The family's lawyers said Thursday. The family's attorneys previously said that Sean Thompson was eaten alive by bed bugs. What the hell does that even mean?
Probably he died of bed bugs, but he actually died with some bed bug bites. Just
Thompson,
like he
35, died in
of
September, 3 months after he was
So
booked
weird.
into the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. Attorneys Ben Crump, oh look at that, Ben Crump is on that case. Blah, 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 blah. Thompson's death gained attention in April after Harper released photos of his face and body covered in insects. What? What?
That's gnarly. Bellied ones.
What does that mean, eaten alive by bed bugs?
What
I
could
don't think
that
I've ever even seen a bed bug, but wouldn't you just flick them off?
Harper shared
are there that
disturbing
many?
If there's too many.
photos. I'm looking at the. Oh, yuck. Oh, well, you guys can go check these out. They are on Facebook.
Pass.
That's pretty disgusting. That's gnarly. Wow. Okay. That's something I didn't need to see today, but interesting.
There you go.
I'm not going to show you
That's where
guys.
Trump might be tonight.
Don't
And I
let
did
the
just
bed
read
bugs
that he renegotiated the bail to $100,000.
Mhm.
So maybe that's what the delay was. Maybe they were. I don't know how you negotiate your bail.
I
but
mean, lawyers do that, I guess, but
Yeah, I was watching CNN before we went live to see, because Lord knows they're going to be covering this thing, and they just reported that.
yeah, we actually looked at CNN first and found out they weren't covering as much as NBC. Do we have this Jeffrey Epstein clip? The Trump clip on that?
talk
Did you send
to
it
Bridget
Dawson?
about that?
Bridget?
No, because I had to do this whole roundabout way to get it in there because it's on Telegram. So I don't remember my Telegram password and stuff, and I'd have to get into it on my desktop.
Okay. God,
So
I feel bad not watching this, but I won't stall anymore. We got to talk about this last story here. This is interesting. A article, pull up the letter. This is from August of 2021, although this didn't actually get released until recently. Yeah, do you see the hyperlink to the letter, though, Dawson? It says it's a PDF. There you go. So this is a series of emails. This was I think it was a FOIA request. And this is a letter. Scroll down to page 4 from a bunch of, I guess you would scroll up a little bit. Look for page 1 of 5. This is from Dr. Osterholm, Michael Osterholm, and a bunch of other people you would consider experts in infectious disease and whatever else you want to call it, epidemiologist, Natisha Chida. Where the hell is all this? Oh, no, that's who they were sending it to. You got to go to the bottom to see all the people that were on this. We have a bunch of PhDs. Bear with me here. Oh, here we go. Michael Osterholm, Lisa Brousseau, Kevin Escandon. That's these are first four are University of Minnesota. Then we got Gregory Bix, which is Tulane University. Angela Rasmussen, PhD, University of Saskatchewan. Chad Roy, PhD in Tulane. And Saskia Pupescu, George Mason University. All infectious disease. Now let's go back to the top. This is to somebody at the CDC. And let me just paraphrase this letter. You can go check it out yourself. But it's basically, we urge you to address serious errors on the website, quote, masks and face coverings for the public, end quote, on the COVID-19 Real-Time Learning Network hosted by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Infectious Disease Society of America. They go on to basically state that cloth masks don't work. And that's even damaging when you encourage people to wear cloth masks because it does one really major thing. You lose the public's trust in the science. This is November of 2021. Now, at that point, let's see, November 2021, I think Osterholm is still in the Biden administration's task force on COVID. Yeah, definitely was.
Yeah, I think you're right. And before predating this, I remember talking about this in the 2020 campaign. Dr. Michael Osterholm from University of Minnesota put a video out of him sitting in his own office on YouTube saying that, cloth masks aren't going to do anything, mask mandates aren't going to do anything. And of course, then he joins the Biden administration and he publicly changes his tune, but apparently privately is sending these emails around. And the fact that anybody's even talking about going back to mask mandates now is that college in Atlanta saying they're doing it. I'm hearing
up again, like in stores. That's what Charlie Kirk was saying in Arizona. Yeah, they're stocking them all up.
If people fall for this all over again, I've lost my. I want
to comment on that in just a second, because I want your opinion on this. We also recommend that they reconsider its statement about the efficacy of masks and face coverings for preventing transmission of SARS-CoV-2. We do not agree that the evidence for their efficacy has strengthened throughout the pandemic, as the website suggests. In fact, contrary to the conclusion of this website, the November 2020 Cochrane Review cited states this, quote, compared with wearing no mask, wearing a mask may make little to no difference in how many people caught a flu-like illness. But this is what the government was pushing. We knew. I mean, this is not news to us. We've been saying this for a long time. But this is like the Biden administration's guy on the task force. So I go to you here. I really want your opinion on this. You just kind of alluded to it. Will people get duped again? Because clearly that's the direction we're heading. Will they get duped again?
Yeah, I think there'll be big swaths of people that are just the COVID idiots that just buy everything hook, line, and sinker. They'll mask up again. A lot of them haven't even stopped masking up, but hopefully even those of us that have known this is a bunch of bullshit will have the courage to say, no, we're just not doing it. Like, I know I had some constituents that were very much against this. They knew it wouldn't do anything, but we had a get together at one of the bars in Shakopee, and I walked in with no mask, and this person walked in with the mask. I was like, what are you doing? Take that damn thing off your face.
Yeah.
So hopefully that classification of people that begrudgingly went along but bitched about it the whole time will have the backbone to say, no, I'm just not doing it. Like, that's what I said the whole time, is if you want this stuff to end, because people would write into the Capitol and say, how do we end it? How do we end it? And I'd say, stop wearing the damn mask. If you want it to end, just stop doing it. And when people start doing that en masse, they'll have no choice.
Right. I'd say being at the fair this morning about
people wearing masks again.
Yeah.
COVIDians are ramping up already. Yeah.
Like when I see somebody wearing a mask still, especially the people that are alone driving cars or these these weird scenarios, I have to admit my first reaction is somewhat anger. Like, what's wrong with you, you idiot? But then it quickly shifts to I feel bad for them. Like, I have sympathy for them. They've been mentally damaged as a result of all this, and it's sad.
Bridget, I see that you posted this thing in the thread. Is this something you want me to share or pass on to?
No, that was just the video.
That was the video?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. And you sure that's asking him about Epstein?
Right.
Yeah, I just
can't access it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, I'm gonna lay this one to rest. But I really want to show you it, so
maybe
we'll
I'll
be more
work
prepared. What's that?
Maybe I'll work on figuring it out how to get it over to him.
Don't worry about it.
With my amazing
Go watch it. Watch the whole interview. Anything else on the presidential debate or this masking? Anything else that we want to cover?
I just think Vivek
Vivek. They didn't ask a question on COVID, really. I mean, you saw DeSantis assert himself on something, but they didn't even ask a question.
Yeah, and I respect what DeSantis did throughout COVID, but worth repeating over and over and over again. But to me, it was Vivek, and I'm curious if he can capitalize on that momentum. In fact, on the way down here, he was on Clay Travis. And he is doing a fantastic job. Trump elephant that was not in the room, like Brett Baer said last night. They asked him, well, what would you do differently from Trump if you think he'd be a better president? And he had an amazing answer on it. And it all revolved around just going further than what Trump went. And he said, in his point of view, when Trump got elected, he was surrounded by people who probably didn't do him any favors. And he said, honestly, if I get elected president, he said, Trump will be my top consultant, and I'll be talking to him because I want to learn from his experience in the White House. So this difficult water, it's so well. It's very, very impressive.
Do you think he's the VP candidate?
Yep. I think he'd be Trump's VP.
Yeah, that's an interesting ticket, I guess. Comments before we sign off. Oh, you know what I want to do before we go to the comments? Sorry to put you on the spot there, Bridget.
No, you're good.
A couple show notes here. Tuesday's show. I think we've got State Senator Colton Moore booked from Georgia, the guy who wants to impeach Fani Willis, who's trying to disrupt our election. So that's an interesting thing. So we'll have him on Zoom. And then on Thursday, we got a lawyer, Aaron Siri. Do I have that correct? Do you know who this guy is? Mark Bashowski's got him coming in for an event. Aaron Siri, he's a lawyer, and I think he's gotten Pfizer. I want to say he's actually revealed Pfizer documents. Seems to be pretty good on our issues on COVID, and since this thing seems to be going somewhere, this heightened COVID awareness, I thought it would be great to get a lawyer who's actually won in court on some of this bullshit. So Aaron Siri on Thursday. And then Mark will be in studio too, so he'll talk about the event. So I'm going to have both you and Leo.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I've been dying to see that guy again.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Tuesday, State Senator Colton Moore out of Georgia. Let's go to some comments.
Carla Nelson's wondering if anybody's read Vivek's book.
The Patriot, Carla Nelson.
Yes.
And no, I haven't, but apparently Chris Christie's read it. It came out in the debate.
Yeah, I've not read it either.
I need to get the audiobook.
And then Lurch USA says, any news on Trump? Has he been detained yet?
Well, it looks like he's still at, what's it called, Bedminster? So, no, I don't think so.
T-Wall is saying parents better stand up if they require masks in school. I think that's the biggest way people could stand up, probably.
Well, let's put it this way. We grew tremendously during COVID. If they go any bit in that direction with the kids on anything, masks, the experimental jab, yeah, you'll see us big time again, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not a chance.
I had a buddy text me on the way in, and he said, what are the odds that Walz puts him a weekend when the fair's over? And I texted him back and said, I think there would quite literally be pitchforks at the Capitol steps if you did that. Like, people would, I don't think they would tolerate it. I hope they wouldn't.
I hope so, too. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of sheep out there.
Yeah.
All right.
Razzle Dazzles has, I was going to throw out there, topic for consideration on a show. It says, recent changes in Minnesota law around police enforcement within school districts. Moorhead removing school resource officers.
Yeah, and there's
haven't heard anything about that.
The Minnesota Police Chiefs Association was asking for clarification from the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, about restraints on kids in case there was life or limb at stake. And, yeah, you don't know about this? Nope. Yeah, apparently Ellison has confirmed that it's still viable if it's like life or limb, you know. So there you go. Because there was a new policy, something that changed in legislation.
I have one more before we go.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Because it's Mark, I just realized.
Bashowski?
Yeah, he said...
He's like, Jake sold this so terribly. I'm so sorry, Mark. I should have had better notes on this. I wanted to make sure I got this out.
Well, he says he made the FDA release the trial data.
There you go.
And then he also says Siri is the attorney for ICANN and has done more for health freedom than anyone.
Gotcha. There you go. Mark, I was a terrible salesman. I was like William. I'm very much like William today. You know?
You kind of are.
Low energy. I feel it. Like this, I should be drinking a little bit more coffee. I'll put it that way. I am definitely a little under it. So I'll try to bring my game back on Tuesday. You know, the big thing is if I could get a little bit of sympathy from you guys.
Maybe a Rumble rant to get you a
I
call.
went to bed at 11:30 last night too. I'm not bitching about it. What do
Did you you
Yeah.
really go? You're an early morning riser.
And 11:30 doesn't seem that crazy late, but
Well, for
I was
him,
up at
he's
5.
9
Well-
o'clock at night.
yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you're not a late night guy.
Hey,
And
lately
you are
I
an early riser. You're like what, a 5 a.m. kind
Yeah.
of guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like 5:30. Hit snooze until about 5:55 probably. Try to be up before 6. Anyhow, we had to set up the fair. We didn't actually have a lot go wrong today, but of course there's always some glitches that happen. This isn't what we do for a living. You know, the people that do this for a living, the fair people, they're pretty impressive because their livelihood's at stake if the fair doesn't go well. They only have 12 days, right? So anyhow, I was like, are we really going to try to make all this work, set the fair up, and then come back for a studio? Because this is new. We've done the fair many years, but we've never had a studio and a show. So, yeah, we're trucking along. We're making it work. I feel like I didn't bring my A game today, so I will bring that on Tuesday because we got a very important interview. Plus, who knows what the world's going to be like on Tuesday because Trump literally is getting arrested tonight at 7:30. That's what we know. It's insane for very politically motivated stuff. So thank you for tuning into this episode. We will see you on Tuesday. Take care.